16-year-old Ananya Malde, who is on a mission to destigmatize menstruation and to get rid of age-old taboos that continue to surround it. 2020 was the year when this young girl brimming with confidence founded Project Pragati, a groundbreaking initiative that works towards stopping girls in rural Gujarat from dropping out of school because of menstruation. Project Pragati was inspired by the story of a young girl named Saraswati who Ananya happened to meet in Kutch.
In my hometown in Kutch in Gujarat, in the rural-most areas, I met a girl one day. Her name was Saraswati. Saraswati spoke to me about what happens within her home when she gets her period. And what I heard was heartbreaking. She has to remain isolated, she cannot enter the kitchen or the temple, she cannot even speak to her parents while she's on her period. And this sparked something in me. And after more and more research, I found out that the problem is more acute in terms of school dropouts. And in fact, every single year in India, 23 million girls drop out of school when they get their period. I was inspired to do something to change this. That's why I started Project Pragati.
And so began Project Pragati, which works to provide underprivileged young girls and women access to safe and hygienic menstrual products. Bengaluru-based Ananya chose to start Project Pragati in Gujarat as a fluency in Gujarati would help her connect better with the rural population. Traveling in the deep interiors, meeting adolescent girls in rural areas of Gujarat, Ananya has been raising funds to ensure these girls don't have to drop out of schools anymore. By providing them with sanitary napkins and installing incinerators at schools. Part of the 1M1B Future Leader program herself, Ananya worked with their NGO partners to speak with about 100 school-going girls and interact with the sarpanches of the 3 villages. The lack of awareness, even amongst the parents, came as a shock to her.
To me, it's completely unacceptable that a woman forgoes her education just because of this natural process within her body. And her dropping out of school now, it has implications for so many future generations, because if a woman drops out of school now, then even 20 years from now when she has children, she will just be forced to stay home and she cannot go and work, and that will continue to establish the patriarchal society in India.
Convincing school principals was a huge challenge, but in the end, she designed a comprehensive menstrual health curriculum for school children.
Through my awareness sessions, I've educated over 1,020 women and girls so far, and in the most rural areas, these girls, they have never even gotten any kind of talk on periods before. They don't know what it is at all. They just know that it's this process that happens once a month, to them and to their mothers, but they have been told not to talk about it, so they don't know anything about it, and they also don't know what sanitary pads are. A lot of them just use, things like rags and, cloth.
The shame and embarrassment that continues to surround menstrual health and hygiene means that parents don't talk to their children about periods. This perpetuates the lack of awareness, the lack of facilities, and the myths and taboos about menstruation, especially in rural and remote areas. Ananya Malde and Project Pragati are hoping to change that. Ananya has already distributed over 50,000 sanitary pads and installed incinerators in 2 schools, one each in Kutch and Vadodara. And she is not about to stop anytime soon. It will be thanks to young change makers like her that 23 million girls can realize their dreams and not have to drop out of school just because they didn't know what a period was. From Ananya in Bengaluru, let's go across to Akriti in Faridabad to see how she is helping the cancer survivors. It's a cold winter morning in Delhi, and Manvi is waiting for her package to be delivered. 2 years ago, Manvi was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer and had to undergo a mastectomy or removal of the affected breast. In the weeks following her surgery, she was asked to consider a prosthesis to address any potential issue of disbalance and deformity in the spine. And there was one more problem.
There is an incident like when I used to go for a walk, like after my radiotherapy, I used to go for a walk, and that time I was not, I didn't have prosthesis, or I couldn't wear it because of sores and skin infections you have after radiotherapy. So people used to stare at at my breast, and like I could make out, or maybe it's my own feeling which led me thought of this thing, but yeah. People used to stare at me, and then only I thought, okay, let me get back to normal now, and I should wear some prosthesis which will make me feel normal again. Basically, normal is the word actually.
The breast prosthesis for Manvi came from Canfam, a social enterprise enabling cancer warriors to improve their quality of life. Canfam is the brainchild of mother and daughter Kavita Gupta and Akriti Gupta. Akriti drew inspiration for her venture from her father's deteriorating condition during his treatment for blood cancer. She was interacting with a number of patients during that time and realized there were problems. This led to the start of their NGO, Win Over Cancer, which spread across India over the next 3 years. In order to widen their reach within the cancer community, they then established Canfam, a solution for the psychosocial difficulties of cancer survivors. Their products range from cancer bras to breast prostheses and cancer hair wigs.
There are two aspects to us. One is scientific thing, that because of the disbalance in the weight and all, because there is one breast, one side there is no breast, so she has certain kind of distortion in the spine also in long term. So that is the scientific aspect. And the second aspect is what you are trying to talk about, that is the social aspect. She does not feel going out on the society, she doesn't want to go out in the parties because she feels that she is incomplete.
Following this dream and these goals wasn't an overnight feat. Akriti constructed her undertaking at the age of 17. She planned it every step of the way and came up with database solutions for the Canfam community. She was already part of cancer awareness campaigns, fundraising, distribution of breast prostheses, and skill development for cancer survivors in her teenage years. And it was finally at the age of 22 that Akriti turned entrepreneur. When the pandemic hit, Akriti leveraged technology to expand Canfam into the online space to continue to support women recovering from cancer.
So when we initially started Canfam, we actually started our pilot with just one category of patients, that is breast cancer. And why breast cancer? Because breast cancer patients go through huge psychosocial disturbances across their patient journey. We started with making breast prosthetics and special lingerie for them. So technology has played a huge role. Honestly, I would say here we launched in pandemic, and before the pandemic we could not have ever imagined that a woman would buy a breast prosthetic or a bra for herself online whose age group is between 40 to 60 years old. But after the pandemic, number one, the online adaptation of shopping, of getting a product online, just doing a video call with someone, understanding that okay, how the product may look like, ordering it for yourself, checking it out. If you do not find it right with the right fit, we have online consultancies available. If the patient does not find it right fit, we discuss with them, we understand, and then we bring it back to us. So in all of this, technology has played a big role.
Akriti's aim through Canfam is to dissolve the psychosocial problems that cancer survivors face during and after their journey as a patient. During the treatment of her father, she realized that there was another layer of treatment for cancer beyond surgeries and medicines. That layer bridges the gap between the environment of the hospital and that of our homes. Akriti took it upon herself to ease a patient's readaptation to society. She believes that if she could do it as a teenager, so can we.
I'm the same 17-year-old who was crying in the hospital room on my journey to bring a revolution in cancer care. So can you.
From Delhi, let's go across to Jaipur and see how Apnavi is using performing arts to deal with mental health issues. It may be a small beginning, but 16-year-old Apnavi Kuchhal has made an effort to reach out and talk about issues even adults shy away from. Her initiative Talking Pages brings to the foreground issues of mental health.
So when I was 5 years old, I was a very sick child. I had allergies continuously, so I couldn't make friends because I couldn't go to school. My grandmother introduced me to classical Indian music, so which helped in building a confidence, and also it helped me, getting distracted from my sickness.
She uses the performing arts as an outlet, a healing medium of release, a formula to give shape to unexpressed and unwanted emotions.
हमारे सोसाइटी के अंदर परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट्स को इतना ज़्यादा रिस्पेक्ट नहीं दिया जाता. इट्स ऑलवेज एकेडमिक्स, एंड दीज पीपल ऑल्सो थिंक दैट एकेडमिक्स अगर करेंगे तो तभी हमारा करियर है. Dancing, music and everything also has a scope in long term also, and it also helps in a peaceful environment.
Talking Pages, Apnavi's initiative on mental health has been wholeheartedly supported by her school. Apnavi's own journey began when, as a small child, she spent many afternoons at RAISE, a family-run NGO that supports children with HIV. Apnavi's grandmother Apnavi Kuchhal started RAISE as a labor of love to help children with HIV. Her feedback was often very important to the caregivers at RAISE.
Apnavi, as a child, I think she was 4 or 5 years old. तब से उसका एसोसिएशन है बच्चों से 6 years, एंड पहला कदम उसने जो स्टेज पे रखा था वो रेस के बच्चों के साथ रखा था, और फर्स्ट परफॉर्मेंस भी उसकी रेस के बच्चों के साथ ही थी. तो ड्रामा, थिएटर सब उसने रेस के बच्चों के साथ ही शुरू किया था.
Apnavi translated her love for music, song and the performing arts into a means of communication with children of the RAISE home. Soon, the interaction blossomed. Children from RAISE now have their own band. They have collaborated with Apnavi on a film. And of course, theatre and performances are integral to their social outreach.
I want to tell our education system that only academics is not the only criteria of a person or a child. also singing, dancing can also motivate them to do better, and it can also be a career option.
She spent most of the time while she was growing up with these children rather than friends from the school. So she developed a lot of sensitivity towards them, and when they shared a lot of questions, she used to ask her grandmother, she used to come to me, and probably she used to try to find answers, and she used to always watch the counselors doing it. So she developed that kind of an older sister role.
Apnavi's journey from a small child dealing with health issues to a confident teenager who is a mentor heading social outreach through performing arts is a journey of inspiration. A journey that has begun with one small step but is now taking greater strides. From Jaipur, now let's go across to Pinky ki Pathshala in Gorakhpur, where Pinky is working to eradicate Kala-azar. The search for everyday heroes who come forward to work with their communities to create awareness around health and hygiene continues for NDTV's Banega Swasth India. And with that, we head out to meet a 19-year-old girl in a small border village in eastern Uttar Pradesh. Pinky, who is a second-year college student now, has become the wheel of change in her village. She is creating awareness around a deadly fever that affects the people of her area called Kala-azar or black fever.
जब मुझे काला-अज़ार हुआ था तो उस समय मेरा उम्र 11 से 12 साल की थी मैम, और 2015 में हुआ था, और उस समय मेरे परिवार को भी किसी को काला-अज़ार के बारे में नहीं पता था। तो इसलिए जब मुझे 1 से 2 हफ्ता बुखार लगी और इधर उधर मेडिकल से दवा आई तो ठीक नहीं हूँ। अंत में मेरा बनकटा ब्लॉक पर जांच हुआ, यहाँ पर हमारे नज़दीकी स्वास्थ्य केंद्र है RK 39 से। उसके बाद जांच होने के बाद हमको देवरिया भेजा गया। देवरिया तो उस समय दवा नहीं था, तो वहाँ से कुशीनगर में चली गई और कुशीनगर मेरा इलाज हुआ और मैं ठीक हो गई।
As a Kala-azar survivor, Pinky is part of a survivors network organized and run by an NGO called Center for Advocacy and Research.
आज मैं काला-अज़ार के बारे में आपको बताऊंगी।
Pinky goes to schools and other villages in Bankata block to tell people that if they have fever for more than 2 weeks, then they should get tested for Kala-azar. It is an awareness that is sorely lacking, a lack that gets in the way of diagnosis and treatment. And that can be dangerous because Kala-azar can be fatal if left untreated.
हम जो हमारे नेटवर्क हैं, जो सर्वाइवर हैं, जो चाहे काला-अज़ार के हों, फालेरिया के हों, उनके साथ हम नेटवर्क के रूप में अब काम कर रहे हैं। उनको ट्रेनिंग करके, उनके एक्टिवेट करके, मोटिवेट करके उनको खुद तैयार कर रहे हैं कि वो एक वॉरियर के रूप में काम करें और अपनी बीमारी को पब्लिक के बीच में बताएं, जिससे क्या होगा, उनसे लोग प्रभावित हो जाएंगे कि नहीं, हम ये भटके थे, हमें और ना भटकना पड़े, जिससे सीधा सीधा हमारा गवर्नमेंट साथ कनेक्शन हो जाए, वो पेशेंट ना कहीं आसपास भटके ना जाए।
Kala-azar or black fever is the second deadliest parasitic disease in the world after malaria. This vector-borne disease spreads to human beings from the bite of a specific kind of sandfly, also known as balu makhi in the local language of this region.
काला-अज़ार का लक्षण जो है 1 से 2 हफ्ता अगर बुखार लगे तो काला-अज़ार हो सकता है, और दवा कराने पर मतलब कुछ देर के लिए आराम होता है, फिर हो जाता है, इससे ठीक नहीं होता है। फिर भूख नहीं लगती है, धीरे धीरे वजन में कमी होने लगती है, ब्लड की कमी होने लगती है और स्किन जो है काला पड़ने लगता है, थोड़ा बहुत उनका ज़्यादा ब्राउन टाइप की पड़ने लगता है। यहाँ पे देखिए नमी स्थान है हमारे गाँव।
The Kala-azar causing balu makhi has found home in the poor villages of this region where there are mud houses. It is in these moist and dark cracks and crevices that this tiny sandfly thrives.
ये दिख रहा है ना, ये छज्जा लगभग इतने, क्योंकि वो बहुत छोटी भी होती है, मच्छर की लगभग 1/3 होती है, बहुत छोटी होती है। उसको बहुत ध्यान से देखना पड़ता है, जैसे कि क्रैक्स, जैसे कि कच्ची मकानें होती है, दीवार की जो दरारें होती हैं और नमी स्थान होती है, ज़्यादातर इन्हीं स्थानों पर पनपती है। गौशाला भी है, तो जो क्रैक्स होती है ना, उस क्रैक्स में रहती है, बहुत छोटी होती है, उसको बहुत ध्यान से देखने पर वो दिखेगी।
In Uttar Pradesh, there are 5 districts that are Kala-azar hotspots. These include the Oria district, where Pinky lives. In fact, there are as many as 29 villages in the Bankata block of this region affected by the disease, including Pinkies. The treatment includes a RK39 test that shows if you're positive or negative, and a medicine that helps combat the viral infection immediately. Amongst the things that Pinky talks about are the symptoms and precautions to be taken, and also reassuring people that the treatment available at the primary and district healthcare centers is free of cost, sponsored by the state. Pinky's initiative has brought a big change in creating spaces for a conversation around cleanliness and hygiene, in allowing the spraying to take place inside homes to be able to kill the sandfly. And there has been a change as well. The number of infected patients have come down in Pinky's village and her block Bankata. That is the kind of impact a public-private individual initiative can have when change makers like 19-year-old Pinky are committed to better health for the village. Big change can come with small steps.